By using object-oriented programming, we can send large amount of data at one time so that effective communication is achieved. With object-oriented programming, we can get security to the confidential data. With object-oriented programming, we can develop high-end reusable applications with less memory space. With object-oriented programming, we can centrally store the data in the form of object instead of making the data to be available around the functions. 5 advantages I said now. What is the object-oriented programming means? Sitting like a statues, like a Gautam Buddha statue in Hussain Sagar, Hyderabad. Something immediate answer is required, students. When immediate answer will come? When you are completely reading the notes daily. So next I'm going to introduce by using functional programming, how to develop the thread application. To develop thread-based applications by using functional programming, we need to go for the steps. So that steps I need to go for it. What is the first step? Second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step. Tell me, first step. Last class we did import threading module and other modules if required. Other modules if required. Import threading module and other modules if required. Time module, sys module, that module, in database module, any module if you want, you can. Next, the second one, open this one program. మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయట్లేదా? చేసారా? ప్రాక్టీస్ subthread creation. Subthread creation. This is the one last class we did. What is the first one? Importing. Next after that, what we defined? Function. Function we defined. Function. Compulsory function to be defined or not? Yes. What is the next function? Define a programmer defined function. Define a programmer defined function. Programmer defined function where it contains thread logic. Where it contains what? Thread logic. Executed by whom? Executed by whom? Subthread. Main thread. నేను ఏదనుకుంటాను మీరు అది ఆపోజిట్ చెప్పేస్తుంది, నాకు తెలుసు అది. Executed by subthread. Main thread, if it is executing, it is a sequential model now, guys. If main thread will execute, that is called what? Sequential. If subthreads are executing, that is called pure threading. Executed by subthread. Next. Okay. Next after that, we defined a method. After that, what we created? Subthreads we created. We created subthreads or not? So, go to the place. Create subthreads. Subthread. So, I'm going to write it. Subthread or subthreads for executing target function. For executing what? Target function. Target function is nothing but what function? Programmer defined function only. Because you know the parameter yesterday, correct? Variable name is equal to thread of threading dot thread of target is equal to args is equal to. Next, fourth one I am going to talk about it. After creating thread, is it enough to execute my function now? No. What do you have to do? Dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthreads to the target function. That's all. And of course, finally, view the result. That is not necessary to write it. These are the steps for development of what? Thread-based application by using functional programming. This is only the thing. Number 1, number 2, functions. Number 3, threads. Number 3, we dispatched it. That is by using what? Functional programming. Today, I want to do the same code by using what? Object-oriented programming. So by using whoops, I want to do it. Take this program, take the same to same. Today I'm writing what? Object-oriented programming. Let me ask one question in object-oriented programming. Every program in Python every object-oriented program must starts with what concept? Class. Class. Every Python program must starts with the concept of class. Right? Without a class, there is no such programming. So I am writing, here I am writing class, what is this now? HYD. Class HYD. These are my two functions. There I am writing what? Self comma. This also I will write what? Self comma. Self, that's all. These are which functions? These are which functions? These are which functions? ఎందుకే మీరు అసలు ఇన్స్టెన్స్ మెథడ్స్ దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్. Any function takes self as a first positional parameter, they are called instance methods. ఎందుకే మీరు అసలు? Why you are coming to my class? Anything taking self as a parameter is an instance method. Anything taking CLS as a first parameter with a decorator class method is a class method. Anything taking @static method, no self, no CLS, static method. Why you are coming to my class? Starting problem, huh? Self problem, huh? When I was going to my school days, weekly one day RTC bus will come to my native place. Weekly once. That will go so many karus and it will go to school. When we enter by mistake into the school in student time, we entered one day. And every day we will wait for the bus. That bus will not have self. When we enter inside, the driver will try, it will not start. You will say, get down, throw push. When we push, then it will start after some time. Like that, after explaining first sentence, second sentence, oh, static method, class method, like that. Self problem. You do the self. Engine problem. Go to servicing. Servicing means reading the notes daily. Done. So, what method it is? Instance method. Come, class is finished. Now, while you are going to create the thread now, some super carefulness you need to take. Now, this hello is what function, what method? Instance method. How do you call this instance method? With respect to object. If we write just hello, error will come. Hello is not a normal function, correct? Hello is a instance method. Every instance method must call with respect to what? Object name. But do you have object here? No. I will create what? H is equal to what? HYD of. I will write here called what? H dot. H dot hello. Next, what I will write? H dot hi. H dot hello. H dot hi. Because it is called what? Object oriented notation. In Django also, when you are writing view.py, in that there is a class-based views, functional-based views. Import Django.render, import Django.support, HTTP response, HTTP request, get method, post method, head method, tail method, render method, so many things. What is HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Right. So learn that HTTP completely. What is the meaning? HTTP and HTTPS. What is the difference between that? 6 differences between both of them. Why some internet websites are using HTTP? Why some of them using HTTPS? Which type of website uses HTTP? Which type of website will use HTTPS? What is that? Yes. People say security. It is not a security. Security session layer. In your ISO OSI reference model, in your networking, there is some layers are there. In each layer, how my Django is adding the content that you need to learn. When it is following MVT architecture, in viewpoint of it, how that layers are working, you need to learn in detail of the skeletons first. So, come to the point of it. Here, h dot hi, h dot hello. Now you run this code. Run this code. So this part, I will say, this is object-oriented programming, subthread creation. Save this code, this place. try to go to the command prompt. Here I am going to write it cmd. There you try to run. So here we are going to have, so here I am going to say e colon. So KVR Python. So 6 p.m. already said full form on already ఒకసారి ఎవరో చెప్పేశారు ముందే. With that Giridhar and said. So full forms means all are gold medalist only. PY, OP, OOP, this answer. What is the answer? Same answer is coming or not? Previously also same answer. With the subthread creation, normal program also you take, same answer is coming. Object oriented programming, same answer. Here also we got it. One more way I will show you. The same example you write in another way. In another way. So here another way. See students, 2.py. 2.py. What is this now? H is equal to. Remove because you are a good in whoops. What is this now? H is a named object. What I will write it? HYD of. What is that? HYD of dot hello. Very good. Nameless object. Here also called what? HYD of. So execute. This I will take it as what? 2.py. Save this code. Save this code and try to run this. Try to run this. 2.py. 2.py. Same on. Sorry. C2.py. See that execute. You are getting the same answer. And you are writing in everything in one class. Last and final. You can write it in multiple classes. Can I write more than one class in the program? Right. So what is the use of class concept? Class Bangalore. Class Bangalore. This is called one more class. HYD class and Bangalore class. Here I will write simply called what? Bangalore of dot 3.py. What is the use of class? What is the use of class? To develop programmer defined data type plus to develop any real-time application by starting with class concept. Class keyword, everything, 5 points I said or not? Definition of class I said or not? See, this is also same thing. This is what we are going to use it, different classes and all. So how many approaches are there? Come to the steps. By using what now? Object-oriented programming, I am going to use it. Come to the object-oriented programming now. Easy. Same by using object-oriented programming, I am going to define. Salman, object-oriented programming. Steps. What is the first step? Same to same. Import this module. Same to same. Dead easy. Second one is called what? Come on. Choose the programmer defined class. Choose programmer defined class and define what? If you want, I can say second step la rastanadi. So choose the programmer defined class. Next is what? Define programmer defined methods, not only instance method students, any method. Programmer defined methods depends on your requirement. Inside of in which class? Programmer defined class. Okay. Now I will go for it. Fourth. What is the fourth one? With this, what is happening? My class is defined, importing module is done, class is defined, method is defined, class is defined, method is defined. I need to create the thread object or not? Simple. Go to the place, create. This I will take up. Create. Here I am going to write it. Subthreads. Executing target function. Here I will write it. What is this? Programmer defined function of what? Class. Programmer defined function of a class. This itself indicates call the function either with respect to object name, call the function with respect to the class name. Depends on the type of the method. If it is an instance method, call with respect to object name. If it is a class level method, class call with respect to what name? Class name. Like that. Fifth step is what? Same. Dispatch the threads. To dispatch the subthreads. To execute, I forget, right? To execute the target function. To execute the target function. I hope you are understanding. This is about by using what? Object oriented programming. By using these things. And a skeleton example also shown. This already last class only I said. These things I am showing now with the different things. Shall we do some examples? Open the notes. Open the notes. Write a Python program. Write a thread-based application. Write a thread-based application. Write a thread-based application which will generate, which will generate, which will generate 1 to n numbers. 1 to n numbers. 1 to n numbers. Where n is positive. Where n is positive. Where n is positive. Students, always think that logics are common, but only thing is syntaxes and skeletons and patterns you have to follow according to the syntaxes. Come on, let us go to that. Generating 1 to 10 numbers, that you are already aware of it, correct? But we are using what? Threads. So look at program for generating 1 to n numbers by using what? Threads. That too by using what? Functional programming. Functional programming first. Come on first. Import what? Threading. Comma what also? Time. For example, if you want. Depends on your time module what you are using. You can use it. Next I will take what? DEF. Generate. Now I am passing n. Now I am passing n. If n less than or equal to 0. See, once you know functions well, you can do most of the things very easily. Print of. Now I am saying there. Print of. Now you are saying there. Here is, come on, invalid input. Invalid input. You are going to say dot format of what? N you are saying. This is going to be executed by what? If you want to say, you can say this now. Thread name also you can say. How do you write it? Threading dot current underscore thread dot what? Name. So you know it is a name. Are you able to follow now? Threading dot name. Are you able to get it? Done. Next time I'm going to write it else. Else. So here format of threading dot current thread dot name comma what? N. So done. Next else. What that else is? I say numbers within. Numbers within. I'm going to write it there. Dot format of what? Dot format of N. Dot format of N. So there I will write it. How do you write it down? For I in range of 1 comma 1 comma now 1 comma what? N plus 1. N plus 1. Easy. Now I'll write the thread name and I'll write it. Of course, value of I is equal to dot format of what? Same thing. I'll carry this entire thing. Here I will write it. Of what I will write? I. And I say here time dot sleep just to see fun result of like this. And I will make it done. This part, I will just end the line. I'll just line ending, one line ending, closing line I am taking. This is what I am taking, starting line. This is what I am taking, starting line. Okay. So coming to this place, starting line of this I am taking. Okay, students, this is my function defined and done. Coming to main program, Now what is the next step? Come on, create the subthread or not? Who will execute this generate function? One subthread I need. How do you take it? T1 is equal to create subthread, create, I'll write a comment, create subthread for executing which function? Generate. I'll write generate. How do you do that? Generate function. T1 is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to target. Target is equal to your function name. What is the function name? Generate, comma, args is equal to the value you need to pass because it is taking the parameter of what? Some 10 I passed it, comma you need to write because it is in the form of tuple. Come on, right? Fine, students. What is the execution status of T1? చెప్పాను కదా నిన్న. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏం చేస్తారు అసలు? ఫాల్స్. నేను ఏది అడిగితే అది చెప్పరు. అది is alive. This function is used for checking the execution status of subthread. This function returns true provided thread is under execution. This function returns false to provided the thread is not under execution. Already explained. Program shown. Then why are you not saying? So coming to this now, live false or true now? False. Come on. Now I need to go for what? T1 dot what? Start. When you say start, how it will work? Start functions done with the T1. T1 is targeted with what? Generate. And it will carry this value and go to generate. N is holding 10. 10 less than or equal to 0, false. This will print the data. Adi flow. So now I am going to write it. Number generate example 1. Functional generation example 1 dot py. So here, go to this place. In this place, threads here, done. Execute py. See, students, asking the number 10 is there directly. And thread 1 only, it is going to give you multiple times. I hope you are following me. This is the value we got it. Thread 1. Can I change this thread 1? How do you give it? T1 dot name is equal to KVR I am giving. I am giving the name. So it is going to print that is the thread which is going to give you the value one by one like this. So here, KVR is the name of the thread over there. So I hope you got it. This is the time I said. Here I'm going to take up 0.5. 0.5 means in 1 second, one number, in half second, one number. That is, the lesser the time, more faster the execution is. In 1 second, two numbers will come. Earlier, in 1 second, one number is coming. Look at little faster the output is. So here, lesser the time, faster the execution is. Welcome, sir. Lesser the time, faster the execution is. Less time, fastest execution. If I write it 0.25, in 1 second, four numbers will come. Still less time, still less time, still less time. Lesser the time, faster the execution is. It is always printing 10. In place of that, I would like to substitute what? N. N is equal to int of what? Input of what? Enter. What is this now? Enter how many numbers you want to generate. You want to generate. You want to generate. So I'm taking like this. You execute, run this code. Now say some 20. So 20 numbers will be generated. So this is the numbers which are going to come across. Now I'm going to take up. Here I'm going to take up. You say next, you try to run this code. You say -4, invalid input. Are you following? So you say something like 5. It is going to give you the numbers like this. Able to follow? So like this, you can write. This is by using what? Functional programming. How do you write object-oriented programming? How do you write object-oriented programming? I'm going to take up function here. Come on now. Come on. Class numbers. Oops is very, very important. In AI models, compulsory oops. Compulsory. And you are not writing kilometers of code. 10 lines, 15 lines. Algorithms will be there in AI. You will use that algorithm. Python coding you will write. The moment when Python coding comes, beautiful. So here numbers. What should I write now? Self. Self you will write it. Self comma n. So now it is available. Now what should I do? Instance method. Need to call with respect to object name. How do you call it now? Come on, directly. Numbers dot generate of what? N. N. Are you following me? Now execute. This is called what? Object oriented programming. Number example 1.py. Py. Go to the threads. See students. This is called what? Object oriented programming. Execute. Oops is very, very important in your technical life students. So here execute, enter how many numbers? 8 numbers I want. It is going to be like this. You say -6 here like this. Are you following me? Right, done. Now I want to go for same thing with a constructor I want to show you. Students, you think one thing when you are working on, of course, when you are entering now in the industry, compulsory you will need to write the coding because already AI models are not built. Now this is going on building in the industry now. If you join after 4 or 5 years, there is a chance of working on existing coding. But you are going to join now, you need to write compulsory coding. There is a Python trending now. Understand? Suppose if you are joining as a Java developer, you never write the code at all. You never. Already code is there. So many people has written the code. On that code only you will do some changes. But in Python level, it is not like that. You are supposed to write the coding because now only the models are started. Product innovations, AI models are using now. Right? This is a correct time to get the job because there you need to write the coding perfectly. So go to the place. Now here I am using one constructor. How to use the constructor? Def underscore underscore init underscore of self comma n. Self dot n is equal to n. Self dot n is equal to n constructor. That time I don't write this n. That time I will write self dot n. Self dot n I will write it. Self dot n. Self dot n plus 1 for instance data member. Now see, this is called a constructor. Now this is self dot n value. Now that time be careful. Enter. That time I don't write walks. Ox I don't write. Here I will write n. I will write what here? N I will pass it. Numbers of n. What is this numbers of n? మనకి ఎందుకు సార్ ఇంత కష్టమైన కోడ్? NO is equal to numbers of n. What is this line is called? Object creation calls what? Constructor. Which constructor? Parameterized constructor. ఇదన్న అర్థమవుతుందా? Numbers of n. Go to where? Init. N is going to be there in where? N. This n value, whatever they are reading, that is n is going to this n assigned to self dot n. This self dot n is no. Now you are writing what now? No dot. Okay, now? Clear? Yes. Execute. This you execute. Execute. Go to this place and then say this. Already there. 2.py. 2.py. See students. Execute now. Py. See this now. Enter how many numbers you want? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Constructor basis. You run once again. Some 25. Some 25. The numbers are going on coming something like this. So 25. You say this is by using what? Constructor and then calling like this. Instead of that, in place of now, what is that? Example 1 run chesana. Okay. 2.py. 2.py. Enter how many numbers? 25. 25. Happy? Happy? నేనేదో అనుకుంటా why they are speaking అని. Generally you will not speak. Very silent you are. Decent students. You have to speak in the class. Outside you should be so silent. Outside people should say he's an innocent guy. But inside the class you should be like a tiger. Right. So come to the point. Now go to this now. Target. NO dot what? Generate. What is NO? Number of n. Can I write that? Directly. You can say in place of that. Okay. Why to make confident, way to make difficulty for you. Today night you will remember, tomorrow you will forget. In place of NO, what I can write simply, this part I will write it. Try to write much shortcut related code. Object creation plus what? Constructor calling, everything. Object creation, constructor calling, calling the function. Object creation, constructor calling, calling the function. Execute. This is called what? 3.py. 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 Execute. Py, say this now. Say some number called -5, invalid input. Say some number called 6. 6 numbers are coming. Okay now? Now, this entire thing, this is what you are writing like this. And this is what you are following me. I hope you are following now, students. Now here, this place of n, you can write this line directly. In place of this n, you can write directly like this. When you are practicing now, you should do all these experiments so that you will get much confidence. And after closing your laptop, instead of talking to friends, chit-chatting, talk to the friends with Python coding. Of course, when you talk to friends Python coding, no friend is there except Guido van Rossum. Rest of them will be away. So try to do that. Are you following me? Right. Next, one more example. Open the notes. Write a Python program. Write a Python program which will accept come on, which will accept a line of text, which will accept a line of text, which will accept a line of text and display the words and display the words after each and every second. Display the words after each and every second. Display the words after each and every second. And display the letters of the word. 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 Did you understand? So the thing is like this. Of course, you might be understand already this part. Just I'm taking that. Suppose if line is called what Python is an OOP language. This line, this sentence I already said. So first you need to display what? Python. Under that you need to display is an OOP. Now I need to say lang. Along with that, under this Python, you need to say what PY, TH and ON like this. You need to display. Then similarly for other things also like this. I and S and like this for other things also you need to display. A and what? N. Like that you need to display, students. Are you following? O and next is called what? P. And lang also you need to take it. L, L, A, N, G. Like this you need to define. Are you following? This is what you need to do. How do you do this now? Need to split. Need to split first. After splitting, each word will come. That word also we need to use it. So let us go to that place and try to do. Can I do directly with OOPSA? So go to that. So program for accepting line of text and display words with the letters, with the letters by using threads, import threading, DEF, something like what? Word display, word display. So if you want, you can take line, you can display this. What is this now? If len of what? Line. Len of line is equal to what? 0. Say what? No string data. No string data. Nothing to display. Nothing to display. I hope you are following. Next time writing what else? Length is 0. No data entered. Length is 0. Empty string that is. No string data. Nothing to display. Else. What I will do? Words is equal to line dot split off. Jaina. Line dot split off. అంటే నోట్స్ లో వరుసగా ఉంటాయి కదా. స్ప్లిట్ తర్వాత జాయిన్ తర్వాత స్టార్ట్స్ విత్ ఎండ్స్ విత్ అట్లా వరుసగా చెప్పుకుంటే లైన్లీ లైన్ దే ఆర్ సేయింగ్. గర్ల్స్ నా దట్స్ వై ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సేయింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్. బాయ్స్ మీన్స్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఐ విల్ డూ సంథింగ్. ఓకే స్టూడెంట్స్, వర్డ్ ఇన్ వాట్ వర్డ్స్? Word in words. Word in words. Word in words. Now, there it is going to be. Now I want to take up. What is the next term? See this now. Coming to this place. First you display what? Word. So I'll say here, word you display. Just a word you, first you display the word, later I will change. So time dot, just to see some good looking output, 1 I will say. So try to go for students. Here I'm going to say, given line I will write it. Given line of text. Given line of text. What I will do there, comma what? Line I will print. There I'm going to take up main program I will take. How do you write it now? Main program I will write it. What is the main program now? Create the subthread or not? Threading dot thread of target is equal to. So I will say take what? Word display. Word display. I'll write it. Comma what next? Args is equal to. So I will, can I write directly like this? Input of enter line of text. Enter line of text. Close, comma, close. Of what? Close another bracket. Are you following me? This is for this, and this comma is for tuple. This is for args. Okay. Next is called T1 dot what? Start. That's all. Run this code. So word display. Words display. Example 1 dot py. Functional functions. This is function words display dot py. Import time. Mayank. Import time. Py. So here Python is an OOP language. So you are going to get it given line of text, and this is going to be printing like this. So here, just to say something here, just to have the difference, before that \t, and just I'm going to see this, some small line, and dot format of what? Word. Already you know. Here, just line, save this code, try to run. Py, enter the line of text. So Python is an object-oriented programming language. So now I need to go for Python is concerned, I need to display its letters, separate letters I want. So I will go for what? Separate letters also I want to display. How do you display, students? For this word when it is coming, I want to talk about one more kind of what? Word. Yes, ma. So for loop I will use it. Preeti, correct. For loop in a for loop. For CH in where? Word. For CH in word. Print of what? /t. Dot format of what? CH. CH. Okay. Done. And there I will write a time dot what? Sleep of what? 0.5. Word timing delay is 1 second. Letter delay time is called what? 0.5. Are you following me? Yes. Let us run this code. This for loop repeats for long time until the number of letters in the word is completed. When the number of letters in the word completing, go to outer for loop, take the next word and repeat for the letters. Execute. So say this now. Python. So see that Python here, Python letters. Is here, is. Next is called an. Next is called OOP. Like that lang, LANG. Like that it is going to come. Are you following? Now you say, don't enter anything, no string data, nothing to display. Because I wrote it what you know, the length I'm measuring it. Are you following this? This is about the concept of what? Whoops related things. Directly with the constructor, I will go for it. With the constructor, directly everything writing in one line only. Thread creation, thread start, constructor in one line. Will you understand? Okay, you will understand. Class, what is this now? Word display. Word display is my class. Just press one tab. In this, what I will do? DEF underscore underscore init underscore underscore of self comma line. I will say there self dot what line is equal to line. That time I don't take the line, correct? Here I will write what? Self dot line. Self dot line. Self dot line. Here self dot line. Self dot line. Here I will write a self dot line. Self dot line. Self dot line dot split. Obviously, this is a data. Now I'm going to take up what? Main program. I will go for what now? Word display. Here I am writing. Generally, we will write what? Word display. W capital, D capital. And my function also same. And there is no rule that this should be different, this should be different. You can take same name also. No problem. So here word display of dot what? Word display. Today, I did not pass any value to the function. I will write this entire thing. I will write this entire thing in where? This part, I will cut it. I will write it here. I never write what? Box. Are you following? What is this is called? Word display of what is this? Constructor. Passing the data dynamically. Object created. Constructor executed. Object initialized with the value. That object dot what? Word dot display. What is created? Thread created. Say what? Start. So much logic. Execute. Here I am writing OOP. Words display. Execution. So see this now. Done. Execute. PY. Done. HYD is the capital of TS. TS. What happens? Display. Self we forget. Self. Any function doesn't take any parameter self or CLS, nothing. It is called what? Static method. But is it a static method I made? No, it is a self-related method. So execute. Enter the line of text. HYD is the capital of TS. So here I am going to get it like this. So I hope you are understanding the meaning. Followed up. So value like this. This is a result like this. Here you see students, still one line I want to write it. This itself is called one line. How do you write it in one line? I don't want to disturb this basic part. Go to this place, Try to go for understanding in Python level. Of course, if we enter into the much coding part, this T1 is there now. In place of T1, can I write this entire thing or not? I will say this now. This entire thing I will copy. In place of T1, I will write it. Dot start. This entire thing I don't write. This is called nameless thread, nameless object, everything nameless, output will come. So 2.py, 2.py. So here I am writing, run this code, py, 2.py. Python is wonderful language. So Python is wonderful language. You'll be getting that entire thing. Are you following that? Like that, you need to take it. Able to get up? Fine. Let us move to the further. Shall we move to next? What is the next one? I want to create multiple threads. Morning one student asked, did you try for that? PYTHON. This you did you try? Capital P, small y, capital T, small h, capital O, small n. Did you try? Got it? Got output? మనకంత సీన్ లేదు. Tried? Got it? No. Why? Easy కదా. So, shall I do it with the threads? Or will you do? You will do. Split student, split. There are so many logics are there. There are so many logics are there. So split it. Take what letters? 0, 1, 0 to 2, 2 you take it. And you convert into upper and rest of them in lower only and join them. You'll get it. Okay, fine. Now I will go to, so now coming to the point back. Next I will move to the further. Another thing I want to take it. Write down. Open the notes. We created what? One thread at a time we created. So far we created one thread only. One thread only we created. Now I want to create what? Multiple threads. Noor, my dear student, simple student, just look at Noor once. Here, this is called a normal threading. I hope this part you understood. This part you understood. Noor, did you understand? Respond, ma. I hope this part you understood, correct? Okay. This part is dead easy. T1 is equal to what? This entire line. Mathematically, T1 is equal to this entire line. That I copied and put it into T1 place. Put it into T1 place. That becomes this answer. That becomes this answer. This entire thing is called what? T1. T1. T1 dot what? Start. That only. I'm just connecting. Connecting only. So, Preeti, slicing. Can we use, sir? Slicing only. You have to use slicing. And upper function you need to use. Easy. Only thing is your body has to bend to do the programming. Student generally what they will think of understanding, na you will think, next off we will understand at the time of doing. At the time of doing, you will forget existing thing also. So that's why you have to practice immediately. Open the notes. Write down. Write a Python program. Write a Python program which will generate which will generate odd numbers and even numbers. Odd numbers and even numbers. Odd numbers and even numbers by using multiple threads. by using multiple threads. By using multiple threads. Actually, my intention is to generate 1 to 10, for example. In that, I am making it to display by two threads. One thread will display what? Even. One thread will display what? Odd. So I am going to use two threads here. Two threads. So we are going to make you to understand how to create two threads. So let us go for multiple threads how to create. So far we created one thread only. Program for generating program for generating odd numbers and what? Even numbers and even numbers within the range of within the range of n within the range of n where n is positive by using multiple threads. So I'm planning to define two functions. Import threading. Two functions I will use it. One is what function? Odd. N pass. One more is called what? Even of n and say pass. So I will define two functions. Here I am going to open my bracket. What I am doing? N less than or equal to 0. Say what now? Invalid input. So just I want to bring it. Invalid input, I just want to bring it. This just I want to bring it. Instead of writing the same thing, I'll write like this. Thread name I am printing. Invalid input also I am printing. Else, what should I do it next? Else, I will go for what? For, for, come on, I in range of 1 comma n plus 1 comma 2. 2. Okay. Because of that, what is printing? What is printing? This value I will print. This value I will print. Thread name I am printing. What is the value now? Odd. Odd. Odd I am printing. Odd I am printing. What is the value printed? I. Thread name is printed plus odd. Now I just want to make it little. Just clarity purpose, I will use sleep of 1. Sleep of 1. This is repeated for how much time? Until my given number is finished. Understood? Similarly, same logic I will write in the even place also. What I am doing now? Here I am writing n less than or equal to 0, invalid input, same logic. If that is the case, I will do what? 2. 2 to this one, I will write what now? Even. Thread name, separate thread name printed, separate thread name printed, because I am using two threads here. Two threads I am going to say. So one function, another function, and two functions I am using. Now I am going to enter into the picture. That means in my remote application, there are two threads are ready. One thread will give you odd numbers. One thread will give you what? Even numbers. If a person is calling both of them, mixed answer will come. Are you following me? Suppose if you request for only even numbers, only even number values will come. If I create a thread for odd numbers, it will give you what? Odd numbers. If I create both of them in the single machine, both the results will come, mixing and coming. Are you following? Sometimes it will give you some order also, it will maintain. So now I am going to say, students, I hope you are following me. Main program I am going to say threads application to be written with planned process. T1 is equal to odd thread OT is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to what? Odd. Args is equal to int of input of enter how many. Okay, first you do one thing, students. Then you pass it. Just for you to understand carefully. OT dot what now? Start. OT dot what? Start. Just a trail running. Now I'm going to take it what? Functional. What is this now? Odd even example dot py. functional, odd, even, example.py. Okay, time, execute, py, you run this, it is going to give you the only odd. Whichever function you call, that only will come. This thread you see, students, that is 1. Suppose if you say et, of what is the target here? Even. Just I am saying et dot start, only target I am changing. You try to run it. Even thread is going to come. Still thread 1 only. Both of them are there. Thread 1, thread 2 will be given. Now go to the place. As usual, go to that same place only. Now I am going to take it what? Even thread I am going to take up. Even thread. Et is equal to even. OT dot start. And next is what? Et dot start. Okay. Now two threads are going to, whose default names are thread 1 and thread 2. So don't think that they are going to come odd, even. Don't think that they are balancing and coming. They are going to come in their own way, giving both the values in the same terminal. Are you following me? So go to the same place, try to run this code. You are getting even thread, odd thread, even thread, odd thread, like that it is going to come. And don't think that they are not coming in the order. Don't raise the doubt. Because I requested two threads to execute in my single terminal. They are executing parallelly. Are you following? You run in this way. Again, you run it. You see that earlier 7-8 difference is coming. Here 6-5 difference is coming. Are you getting? Sometimes it will come in order. Sometimes depends on the processing capability, processing speed. That differs. Here I will write what? Int of input of, I am writing here, enter how many, come on, how many odd numbers you want. How many odd numbers you want. Writing like this. Is it clear? Okay now? Bracket, okay? Two brackets, close. One bracket, this is for this. This is for aux. This is for that. Okay. Now I'm going to take up. This is for how many? Even numbers. Try to run this now. Go to the place. 10 numbers I want. 20 numbers I want. Up to 10 collectively coming. Up to after 10 odd numbers within that is coming. Odd will be completing the task and even will continue. I hope you are see the things. So who stopped it? Odd stopped it. 9 only it is coming. Rest of them what is continuing? Even still execution is there. Now if we go to further, odd numbers some 30, here you take 10 and you can see carefully now. Even will continue up to 10 and rest of them only odd will come. Odd only will be executing now because even was completed its execution. I hope it is clear for you. So 20, 29 and it stops. So how many threads are running? So what did you understand with this model? What did you understand? One thread compulsory require one target function. One thread compulsory require one target function. That is called 1:1 model ratio. 1:1 model ratio. One thread compulsory require what? One function is compulsory needed. That indicates the smooth execution of our threads. If you go to the next model which I am introducing, it's not like that. Once again, I am saying 1:1 model means what? One thread, one resource. Resource is nothing but what? Function or method. Let me do the same example with oops. with the whoops. Already you understood, but just I'm showing you. Here I'm going to take up, here I'm going to take up, writing here, class called what? Odd, class called odd. There I'm taking, here I'm going to write it what? Self I am going to write it, self I need to write it, self comma. Here I am going to write it, another class I will take it. If you want, you can take in the same only. Even I am going to write it, even I said. Press one tab and take care, and you need to write self over there, right? So now it is going to be, so now I'm going to say DEF, DEF, Sagar, line number 5, DEF, okay. Go forward, comma. Okay, done. Now this is called what you know, self dot and etc. In this case, when you come to this place, it is just a matter of what? ODD dot. What is this now? Even of dot. Even of dot. This is the one you try to go for. Object oriented programming. You try to execute. See this now. Try to execute PY. This answer you see. Some 8, some 6. You go for that. You are going to get the output like this. Depends on your requirement, you will be getting it. Suppose if I run some -4 and some 10, I said only what is coming. Thread 1 is saying invalid input, that is a -4, and only even thread is executing. Understood? So this process indicates what is this entire thing says. One thread require one resource for smooth execution. But next model of application is what? Very, very simple. Here I will just take up one small environment. One thread, one function. One thread, one function. One more thread, one more function. One more thread, one more function. Z function. This is called what? 1:1. This is called 1:1 we can call. 1:1 ratio we can call. This will give you the smooth execution. That means no thread is intervening other thread execution process. No thread is collision with another thread process. So I think this color is not. And these things are comes under what? Each thread is executing its own function. Each thread is executing its own function. No collision is taking place. No collision is taking place. This is comes under model 1. This type of example is called model 1. It is nothing but what? A person who is participating in running race having his own runway. Another person who is participating in running process is who is having his own runway. In that runway only they need to run. They cannot move into other people's runways, so that they will not have any collision problem. Another model is what? Like our Gmail, like our Twitter, like our all sorts of the social media content, all sorts of business apps. Look at T1, T2, T3, T4. What are the T1, T3, T4 are called? Subthreads. All of them are coming to where? X function. What is their target function? What is their target function? Come on, X. So how many threads are enter inside the DEF? 4 functions. Some logic is defined inside. What will be the output you will get it? Can you predict the output of this X function when the threads are entering inside? You can't predict the output of these threads when all of them are enter into X. You can't predict what will be the value of that result. Can you predict it? You can't predict it. Such a type of result. Such a type of result. First of all, did you understand the model? This is one resource, multiple threads. Multiple threads are entering to where? Single resource. What will come? You can't predict the result. That result is known as what? Non-thread safety result. Spell out. Non-thread safety result. Non-thread safety result. This is in Python terminology process. In OS point of view, it is called what? Deadlock result we can call deadlock. Result came, but that result is no use at all. This is also known as what? A wrong result will come, wrong result. Some people will call it the inconsistent result we can call. This type of results nowhere else considered. How do you eliminate? First of all, did you understand the situation now? So total thing is very simple. Multiple threads enter into the same resource. What will happen? Wrong result. Simple. In another way, if anybody did not understand, నేను ఒక డయాగ్రామ్ రాస్తాను ఇక్కడ. I'll write one diagram. Try to understand at least. What is this? Huh? What is this? Huh? What is that? Don't know this. What is that? Oh, the four roads combined together is called what? Junction. In Hyderabad, they will use Hindi, Telugu, mixing together. They will say Chaurasta, something like that. That means four roads. This is called this is called what? Shareable area. Correct or not? Here, these vehicles are coming this side. Here, these vehicles are coming. Here, these vehicles are coming. Here, these vehicles are coming. T1 is a thread. T2 is the thread. T3 is the thread. T4 is the thread. T4 is the thread. If all threads are entered into the same method, what will happen? Problem will come. That is called what? Non-thread safety result. Traffic jam pakkan bettu. Traffic jam is okay. One point. First of all, garbage collector will collect away now. So, traffic jam, okay, it is cleared for a few minutes. If something happens, problem now. So, this is going to be called what? Non-safety result. Is it recommended? Traffic jam, one kind of unavoidable situation. That is called a non-safety. Or something happens. It is also non-safety or not. So, that's why what came? Traffic signal concept came. That is called what? Synchronization concept we can call. Synchronization. What does the synchronization says? When one thread is executing, other threads made wait until the thread time is completed. So when multiple threads want to enter into the same resource, by default, Java environment, Python environment, .NET environment, any environment will give which result? Non-thread safety result. Non-thread safety result. Such non-thread safety results are called deadlock result. Deadlock results are recommended or not recommended? Not recommended. Your college are said for deadlock. Which example? Deadlock result. In Galvin book, when I was studied, you also studied the same thing. University will give same book only for 25 years, same book, same textbook. It's very happy when they teach that textbook examples, but they don't teach that. They will add their own spicy and they will explain. Blackboard, white chalk piece. So what is that thing? Process P1, process P1, process P2. This is another style of deadlock. Process P1, process P2. And two threads, two processes means two threads in our program. To complete the process P1 and P2, it need two resources. It need two resources. Resource R1, resource R2. Resource R1, resource R2. These two resources required for both the processes. If I want to complete my process P1, two resources compulsory I need. When both the processes started at the same time, do you know what is happening? Process P1 hold what? R1 resource requesting for what? R2. While P1 is holding R1, P2 hold what? R2 and P2 requesting for R1, which is already held with whom? P1. So P1 is waiting for P2 resource, P2 is waiting for a P1 resource. Both the resources are waiting for each other. When you will release, when I will hold. When you will release, when I will hold. They are waiting for 24 hours. Nobody is releasing. Finally, what will happen? No work is done. No work is done. That is also called what? Deadlock result. That is also called a deadlock result. Understand? This type of deadlock result, to use it in our OS, Banker's algorithm is there. Banker's algorithm. Study it. మనం ఎప్పుడు all in one in all, these things only we study. Galvin book, you open it, Banker's algorithm. That is a great example. That is already by default present into our Python language. So lock concept is there, na? Inside of the lock, they written this Banker's algorithm. So round robin algorithm, అది CPU scheduling algorithm. Now, ఏదో ఒకటి some algorithm. If they ask Banker's algorithm, write some algorithm, because algorithm is there now, like that. So even examiner also will not bother what your algorithm is, now tick mark and give the marks. Person like me taking the microscope and reading what algorithm written, what algorithm question is asking. Or I will call that student, just a textbook open and answer sheet open. You only read and you only correct. What you will do? You will think that time, sir, conduct the exam once again, you will say. So anyhow, students, did you understand the importance of this model? So what did you understand? How many models in threading? Two. One is to one. One thread, one resource. One thread, one resource. No collision, no safety problems. Every result is safety. One more model is what? Multiple threads entering into the same resource. One is to many. One resource utilized by multiple threads. By default, which result will come? Non-thread safety result will come. How do you avoid that? By using synchronization concept, locking concept, we use it. When you go to, because we are writing locking concept here in Python, but when you go to server side programming like Java servlets, JSP, Spring Boot, if you come to ASP.NET, these are server side programming. Django, server side programming. That is required what? By default, the server which is running at 8080 port number, default server of Django, by default it is a thread safety. By default, it is the thread safety. No need to write any multi-threading on it. Servers are by default thread safety. When you make two requests at the same time, server will categorize which request came first. That will be serviced first. Other thread will be made wait for a few milliseconds of time. After servicing first thread, second thread will be serviced. Like that, crores of requests will come to the server. Server will provide this response to every thread in a milliseconds of format, and no request will feel that is taking more amount of time. So internally they are using what? Locking concept. That's what I said. This multi-threading is used at the product based only, not in the project level, because as on today, almost all the technologies are multi-threaded. You need not write multi-threading coding at all. Even if you learn it, you don't use even in single project also this coding. But when you go to service-based projects, project-based companies, product-based companies, then you will come across this coding. Okay, now, so that concept, next class I will introduce, because even if I introduce also, it will not complete. So that model called what? Actually, I want to introduce today, but time is not sufficient. Deadlock concept I will introduce in tomorrow class, so that you can understand perfectly. Okay, now, so tomorrow also, first 1 hour of the time, deadlock examples I'll tell you, don't miss it. Synchronization concept, lock concept I will explain. Lock concept. There, how to lock the object, how to release the object, how to acquire the lock, how to release the lock, how to avoid the deadlocks. All those things I will explain tomorrow class. Okay now? So I'll stop it, and tomorrow class will attend. So 6 o'clock only. 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock not there. So today 9 o'clock completed, 6 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, don't miss tomorrow class. Thank you, students. All the best. Online students, you can hold on. Any doubts are there, I'll clarify.